What is up, everybody? OGP and Mr. John with ye. And where is the intro, you ask, and why are we late? I was having some technical difficulties. I apologize. It's 7:04. I think we technically made it in at 7:03. No, it was definitely 7:04. So forgive me. A little technical difficulties this afternoon, but we're going to start a little different. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today. John and I have been watching a ton of great movies. There's fun stuff coming out this week, like The Accountant 2, Until Dawn. But John and I have watched some religious movies as we just had Easter and a bunch of different things. So does that sound exciting to you, Mr. John?
It does. I'm over on my channel trying to see if I can. I don't see how people can see this. Looks like I'm a little off from what you're saying, but I just got
Okay.
a big white rectangle here.
Okay. Well, I am showing you see me, right? On StreamYard and everything?
Yes, I see you
Yeah.
on your channel, and I see you on mine. It looks like we're off by, I don't know, 10 seconds or something.
Oh, it's yeah, that good. Don't try and sync your streams or listen to your streams. You just got to do everything through StreamYard here. You'll drive yourself bonkers. But you are live. I can see that now that you are connected and live. So anybody watching, if you are more of a fan of John Ward's channel, if he is joining me on Movie Mondays from here moving forward, we are going to stream on both channels. So you can see his content there if you're subscribed to him or here, either way. So are we
Either
feeling
way,
pretty good about everything?
yeah, I mean, we're two guys wearing shirts, beards, glasses, and hats. So
Yes. Yes.
nothing, nothing to complain about.
No, that is very true. And I'm glad that we're both wearing shirts. That would be mighty uncomfortable had we decided not to wear shirts today.
I've thought of doing a show called Topless Man Reviews Movies, and I would just be topless.
I don't know how many views you would get, but it might be kind of fun.
I think there's probably some people out there who might like that. You never
There you
know.
go.
That's some
Well,
kinks.
hey, so everybody, check this out. We introduced a new intro to the live stream last week, and we've even improved it. More on that this week. So let's get in to Horror Movie Monday, shall we?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Most of all, fuck you!
Yeah. I'm liking the additions. I'm liking the changes to the opening. How'd you feel about that, John?
It looked good. I'm just trying to figure out if I got the right amount of fingers up. There we go. Two.
Yeah!
Yeah. The horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Party, dude. Party on.
Yeah. So man, we have some fun stuff to talk about today, and the big one of the week I want to talk about first, and then maybe we'll say hello to everybody, and that is The Accountant 2 comes out this week. Ben Affleck, John Bernthal. I have been waiting for this for a long time. I loved the first one. What say you, Mr. Ward?
I've never seen the first one. I honestly did not know it was an action movie. I thought it was, I don't know, a comedy or a drama. I didn't know it was an action film until I saw the trailer for part 2. So
Okay. Well, I highly recommend you track down the first one and watch
I
it.
tried finding it for yesterday, and it was going to cost money. So no, I have not seen it.
Okay. The Accountant is one of my favorite all-time action movies. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I cannot wait for this one. Ben Affleck's great. Bernthal's great. Action movies are great. It's like you look at Bernthal and he kind of looks like he has the same haircut as he does in The Punisher. And man, he's kind of got that kind of character like a Punisher. So you give me Bernthal in that type of role, I am very excited. And Ben Affleck. So in the first one, we learned that Ben Affleck was an autistic hitman. So he struggles with dealing with things, but he's super, super smart. But he just is not very social. And he's very like things have to be in their perfect places. Like, a lot of autistic people, deal with the OCD and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And man, I'm telling you, this one looks so great. I will definitely be seeing it in the theater. I've already got Thursday night set aside so I can go see it. John, I guess you're probably going to want to watch the first one before you get to this one. So what are your thoughts? Are you going to try and see The Accountant 2 in theaters this week?
No.
Yeah, man, this is one of my most excited. I'm one of the movies I'm most excited about for the year right here.
I mean, I should see you got that pass, and I should get that pass too, because I really should be seeing more movies in theaters, because I want to destroy movies like Snow White and build up these types of movies so we get more of them. I know that you didn't like, A Working Man, but hey, I like it or not, it's making money. It's making more money than Snow White. I am happy with that. I should go see it just on that basis alone. So,
yeah. Well, and so here's the thing with going to the movies and having the movie pass, you get some duds, some things you expect to be duds, but then you get some pleasant surprises. Like A Hell of a Summer was a pleasant surprise, and Warfare was a huge surprise. So there's been a lot of pluses to it. So anyways, I recommend it. Anybody who lives close to a theater, AMC or Regal, I would do it. I highly recommend it. But there's another movie coming out this week also called Until Dawn, a horror movie where these people kind of have to survive the night and stuff. It looks pretty good. Did you get a chance to check out the trailer for this, John?
Yeah, I've actually seen it before because it's based on a Sony PlayStation game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man.
And I've been collecting those type of things, so it did interest me. It reminded me a little bit of The Cabin in the Woods with what they're doing, how they have to stay 13 nights. Like nobody has stayed 13 nights in this cabin or wherever they're at. And so, yeah, it looks interesting. Now, I got to be honest, that is one that I might go see in the theater only because it's the first one. I don't have to see the first one to go see the second one. So.
Oh, yeah, very true. Very true. And that's why I love the movie pass. If I can make it work, I'll double feature them Thursday night and see both. But now I'm a little less excited than I was about a minute and a half ago because I had no idea this was based on a video game. And I've very rarely seen video game movies that I like. So, or video game television shows. They usually kind of fail, but hopefully this one's fun. So,
PlayStation has a whole bunch of movies slated to come out. So, a bunch based off of their games.
Wow. Well, let's say hello to everybody real quick. Gail says, hey, OGP and John, I won't be able to be with you guys. I have COVID. Oh, no, dang it. Running high fever, muscle aches. I did see Sinners. The movie is very good. And Gail messaged me about that. And that's a bummer. Well, we're hoping.
I'm sorry to hear that, Gail. I know what you're, well, both of us know what you're going through.
Yep. Deadpool Fanatic, what's up? Antonis, what's up? Fluffy Gamer, like the friend. I don't think anybody last week reminded us that it was
vamp time.
Fucking vamp time. Oh yeah, baby. It is indeed vamp time. Let's see here. Ugly Stepsister was grotesque and disturbing. Good time. Okay, now did that wasn't like a theatrical release or anything, was that? Where is that? Do you know anything about that, John?
I think it's limited. You know, it's like
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh and Pinocchio and all those
Okay.
ones. It's the public
Okay.
domain thing.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen or don't know much about it, but good to know. Thank you, Deadpool. Dominic, what's up? Hey, I know I asked a bunch of times. When can I come on? Sorry for asking so much. Dominic, you're good. Don't worry about it. When we're gonna do a show where we have guests or a panel or something, we will let you know. Probably not tonight because we got a lot to talk about. Jennifer, what's up? Daniel, what's going on? Jennifer says hello to John. And Daniel Barry, what's cracking? Jennifer sees both of us. Sweet. That's the goal, is that we both show up on here. Nick B, what's going on? And Robert C is in the house. House of G fam. Ophobic Gamer says John is starting a OnlyFans. Yes, with the shirtless movie reviews available on OnlyFans.
I'd be
There
for
you
that.
go.
I'd be
There you
down for
go.
that.
Probably make a little money. Wicked Network, what up? And Antonis coming through with the $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. I watched a first time watch family movie last night called Little Monsters, 1989. Have you seen it before? John, I'll let you answer first.
I have not seen. Well, no, that's not true. I have seen Little Monsters. Believe it's with Fred Savage, if I'm correct. But it was decades ago. But that's funny that somebody mentions that, because what came in the mail today was Fred Savage in The Wizard. Canceled Fred Savage.
Bum, 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 boo. Here it is, right here. So
Is that
I
Fred
have it.
Savage? Am I correct?
It's yeah. Yeah, Little Monsters. I own it. I have not watched it yet, though. Howie Mandel. Love Howie Mandel. And Fred Savage. So, what was the show that Fred Savage was? Not Golden Years. What was the name of that show? Wonder Years, right?
Yeah.
So that was after my time. I was never a fan of that show. I have nothing against it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. And so I'm not like, Fred Savage, I got to go watch. But I think somebody recommended this to me. And so that's why I picked it up. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, and I may or may not have seen it a long time ago. I just don't remember. But let's see. Antonis, did you enjoy it? That is the follow-up question. Did you enjoy it, Antonis? Christian's in the house. What up, Christian? And Wicked Network saying what's up to everybody. Have y'all seen Sinners? We got to watch it Saturday. It was an amazing movie. So now I got thoughts on Sinners. I have not seen it yet. John, have you?
No, I want to. Michael B. Jordan. I like him as an actor and a director. Creed 3, I really enjoyed, and it is making a lot of money. Yeah. And which is awesome, because it then wiped out, I believe it took first place. So it wiped out Minecraft. So,
Okay.
No, I want to see vampires. It's I'll definitely check it out.
So I have heard from a few people that yes, there's vampires. Yes, there's singing. Yes, there's other things going on. But this is well over a 2-hour long movie. It's beyond 2 hours. And apparently, like, the first and second act don't really involve vampires. That kind of, I guess the action and stuff doesn't pop up till the end. And I'm just a little worried personally, because I was watching the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks good. And then I think it's Michael B. Jordan, who there's a guy singing, and Michael B. Jordan's like, ooh, sing it, or whatever he says. And I'm like, done. I'm out. I don't do this. Woo, woo, yay, sing it, yay. I tapped out at that point, but I've been told I still need to watch. I told, don't worry about that.
Well, I mean, if the vampire stuff is there at the end, then it sounds a little more like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is what I've seen in the trailer, and I've heard be ready for like a slower burn at the beginning. So we'll see. I think I'm gonna wait, even though I could have went and saw it with my pass and not had to pay anything for it. I still passed. Wicked Network found Accountant Blu-ray at Big Lots for $1.25.
Wow. Okay.
That's you. And so the Big Lots closest to you has closed down, but I know there's still at least a couple open in Vegas. So maybe one of these days when you're out and about, try and find your nearest, current nearest Big Lots and look at their movie selection. I've found great stuff at Big Lots over the years.
Okay. I'll go check it out on my day off. So, okay. Thank you, Wicked Network.
Fluffy says apparently Sinners is a must see in theaters, especially IMAX. We'll see. We shall see. Let's see here. So, Daniel, what's going on? Until Dawn movie is nothing like the game. Okay. And I don't know anything about the game. I may own the game if it was on PlayStation 2, but I don't know when it came out or anything. And I can't remember. I have a bazillion video games, so I don't know, but I've definitely never played it. That's for sure. And have you ever played that game, John? Until Dawn?
I don't play video games at all. I know not. I only, if I get into something like Resident Evil, I'll learn about the games, but I don't play them.
Okay. Collectify, what up? Says, what up, OGP and John?
Hey.
Loved Accountant One. Collectify coming at us from New Zealand. Decent. Man, my daughter's down there kind of by New Zealand in her big Navy ship somewhere. They were just in, I can't say where they are now, but they were recently in Saipan. So that is that part of the world. But so that's very cool. I'm one of these days I would love to go to New Zealand.
I would like to go to New Zealand to visit Middle Earth.
Aren't there dinosaurs down there too?
There are. That's the last place that they have been seen. Yes.
Okay. Jeff Keaton, what's up? Okay,
Hey.
and I'm just gonna say what's up to a couple more people, and then we're gonna get to the news. Musashi, what's up? Sinners is great. Okay, very nice.
Okay.
There you go. And Antona says, "Yep, Fred Savage. I think I first saw Fred Savage in Austin Powers 3.
Mole.
Okay.
Mole.
Hmm.
Mole.
I've seen the first Austin Powers. I've never seen any of the sequels.
Oh my God, the second one is amazing. It is
is it?
so
Okay.
good. And then the third
Is
one
that the
has
Spy Who
amazing.
Shagged Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all good. They're all good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fred Savage is in part 3. He's Dr. Evil, like one of Dr. Evil's like assistants or something. He has a giant mole with like a hair sticking out of it, and Dr. Evil
Okay.
can't stop staring at it. And Tom Cruise is at the very beginning of it. So
Oh, well, that explains why John likes it. Little Monsters and the Wizard, Childhood Memories. Yes, there you go. Antonis did like it and thought it was a good movie with some scary images for little kids. Larry, the Batman fan, is here. What's up, Larry? How you doing? Larry
Hey.
coming through with that $5 super chat. Larry, sir,
Yay.
you rock. Always supporting the
Thank you,
channel.
Captain.
Thank you very much. Larry says, how's everyone doing tonight? Anyone watch my Super Nintendo collection video yet? Larry, I have not. I have Wet Movie One sending me videos to watch. John Ward makes videos. Fluffy makes videos. I don't be offended. I have not watched anybody's YouTube videos in a long time. When I was out there in Vegas, John force-fed YouTube videos on me. So we watched some YouTube together, but other than that, I just don't have time. Sorry. I wish I did, but hopefully some other folks have been checking it out.
I could make a video called OGP is the greatest guy in the world, and he still wouldn't watch it.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't see it. Yeah.
See,
Major Reeves, what's up? And Jammin' Music, man, AOGP. Hope you had a good Easter, buddy. Well, thank you very much. And that, sir, brings us to something. Well, John, I have a question for you before we start talking, because we are going to talk about some of the movies that John and I have watched over the last few days, including some Easter/religious movies in the spirit of the holiday there. Do you have any other news or anything that you want to mention before we dive into that stuff, John?
no, I mean, except that I have a new video up for Michael Bay number 6.
Ah, yes, you did say that you made your Michael Bay video. So
I finally got it up there. It's an hour and 36 minutes. It's a lot longer than I thought it was. I was so exhausted after making it that I just vegged out on YouTube for a couple
Man,
hours. It was bad.
Hour and 36 minutes, man. That's nothing for me. Call me when you hit 9 hours. So in other news, Ready or Not sequel, Ready or Not, Here I Come, which we know is going to have Samara Weaving. We love Samara. But it just added Sarah Michelle Gellar, Elijah Wood, and David Cronenberg to the cast. So
sweet.
Ready or Not 2 is going to be epic. Now, John, have you seen Ready or Not?
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts on it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I think I need to see it again, but I liked it. Yeah.
Okay. I love the first one, and I will watch the first one again right before the new one comes out.
I mean, it's the Scream people, so it's that company.
Yeah. Did you know there's going to be a Maximum Overdrive 2?
Yes. I watched an interview with Emilio Estevez, which is funny that you say that because we're going to be discussing him in a second. Because I do have some pickups, but yeah, he wrote the script and he actually gave it to Stephen King.
Okay.
Who apologized to him for the first film.
Do you by chance have a YouTube app open in addition to your StreamYard?
I have my YouTube channel up so I can kind of converse with people. Should I close it?
Just mute it if you would. I'm hearing myself.
It is muted. I think you're coming through my speakers because I'm not hearing anything through Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. It's not bad, but I was just hearing myself. I thought maybe
I'm just wondering if I could change that.
Okay. But otherwise, it's been a pretty quiet week in news as far as horror movie goes. There was some other pretty significant news in general last night, and that was the passing of the Pope. The Pope passed away yesterday, last night, something, I mean, it's on the other side of the globe, so I don't know what day it exactly was. Rest in peace, Pope. But also, it's a good reminder, if you have not seen the movie Conclave, I highly recommend that everybody goes and sees that. The ending the ending is the controversial part, where you may either like it or not like it, or have to digest and think about it. But the movie Conclave in general, I thought was very good. I was kind of worried it was going to be a little too slow, but it wasn't. It was pretty dang good. And so Conclave, if you don't know, after a pope passes away, all the cardinals from around the world go to the Vatican and they lock themselves in this room and they vote for a new pope. So, and that's called like Conclave. So they're going to be doing that very soon, picking a new pope. And that was kind of what the movie Conclave, it is what the movie Conclave was about. So highly recommend checking out Conclave if anybody has not yet seen it. So have you seen Conclave, John?
No, and I will not.
Okay. Yeah, and I know why, but we'll talk about that a little bit later if you want. But so otherwise, that's basically about it in the world of news. Now, we mentioned Accountant 2 is coming out this week, and we did, and we mentioned Until Dawn is coming out this week. So John and I, John always likes to watch movies on holidays, right? Related to the holiday. So what would you tell everybody about, like, what was your decision or your thought process with the movies you chose for Easter this year?
Well, normally on Easter, I watch horror movies. And so I'll watch Easter-related horror films or Easter sci-fi stuff like Critters 2, or it could be Easter Bunny Bloodbath, which, by the way, I'm in part 2. And then I could watch. I did Zombies one year, so it was Easter Zombie Easter Zombie Resurrection Marathon, I think is what I called it. And it ended up being unintentionally Uwe Boll movies or Uwe Boll films that he produced. And so that was fun. And then this time around, since you were part of it, I thought, no, horror movies are boring. I've done them so many times. Why not watch religious films? And so I looked up, what are good religious movies to watch on Easter? And it happened to pick 4 that I own. They weren't what I expected. I expected more kind of like pure flicks type of stuff, but of course it was a huge list. So, the 10 Commandments was in there, the Bible was in there, a whole bunch of stuff. But 4 of them I did have, and I have them right here. So
Okay.
that's what I watched.
So yeah, and so the interesting thing was, because John had mentioned that one of the movies he was going to see was The Passion of the Christ, and I had just watched that like the night before we talked about this, so I was already kind of one for one with John there. So I was like, well, yeah, let me know what else you're going to be watching, and I will check them out. Now, one of the other movies that you watched was Exodus, Gods and Kings, and I watched that. So both of us saw Passion and Exodus, and we'll give our thoughts on those. But what were the other 2 that you watched?
I also watched, well, I didn't get to the 4th one because I watched 3, did the Michael Bay video. That took a while to set up and get organized and do, because I had to stop it and then go back and redo it. So I missed one of them, which I'll watch eventually. But I also watched Noah. So with Russell Crowe. And then the one that I didn't get to, which kind of bums me out, is the remake of Ben-Hur.
And now Noah, I understand that's going to be about Noah and his ark. And I'm going to maybe seem a little ignorant or naive here, but I've never seen even the original Ben-Hur or the remake. So what is Ben-Hur about?
Ben-Hur is about fate and adventure collide in this epic, all awe-inspiring story of Judith Ben-Hur, a prince who is enslaved by the Romans after being betrayed by his adopted brother, Messiah, separated from his family and the woman he loves. Ben-Hur is rescued. Is anybody actually named Ben-Hur?
Well, did you say, but was Ben-Hur his last name? This sounds a lot like Exodus.
Yeah. And Ben-Hur is rescued from near death by the mysterious, I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, Academy Award winner Morgan Freeman. He returns to his homeland seeking revenge against his brother and an empire, but might instead find a chance for redemption. This powerful, action-packed film is an exhilarating must-see.
Now, so Ben-Hur, with what happens with the like vindictive or the battle between the 2 adopted brothers, or the one adopted brother, very much like Moses, the going back to get revenge, very much like Moses. A lot of the things you described there, very much like what happened to Moses, in the movie Exodus, and I mean in Moses in the Bible and everything. But that's interesting. Now, Ben-Hur, is that based off of any supposed true story, or it's just fiction? Do you know?
I think it's just fiction.
Okay.
I think it is.
So it's because it seems like somebody took a lot of Moses's story and made Ben-Hur about it. Because there's a lot of that stuff that was very like Moses like. Let's see here. A lot of chat going on. Let's see. I'm his favorite YouTuber, Larry the Batman fan. What's going on? I'm missing some comments here. The Pope passed at 10:30 p.m. your time, OGP. Okay, so 10:30 last night. So the Pope passed technically then on Easter, but it wouldn't have been Easter over there. It would have been Easter Monday. So, but it would have been Easter here still. Crazy. We sorry, a lot of chat between themselves in the chat room there. But so the Passion of the Christ, that one is out of these movies. So Noah took place before Jesus Christ was born, and Exodus with the story of Moses took place well before Jesus Christ was born. And so they're not directly Easter related as much as they're just religious movies. Is that correct? Or John, is that what you would say?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but very good. I will tell you, I was The Passion. I'd been meaning to watch it forever and ever and ever. And I had just never gotten around to it. And I said, you know what? This year I'm going to watch The Passion of the Christ. And I was worried because I'd always thought it was like 3 hours long, but it's not. It's like 2. And I was worried it was going to be very slow and everything. This movie's pretty intense. And if you are very religious, it could piss you off. So go ahead, John.
Well, no, continue. And then, yeah, if you want, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I thought the movie was great. I didn't know. I am not well versed in the Bible and religious stuff. So there was elements to the movie I did not know. But I'll tell you, I think they did a great job with it. It was very bloody, very gory, and not knowing how accurate this is to the Bible. And the accuracy of the Bible is something we could question, but that's for another video. Not worrying about accuracy, I thought the film was phenomenal. And my first reaction was, how? And I understand the whole Jesus Christ thing is forgive these people, forgive them. I wouldn't be able to. I would not be able to. And so that's very, very interesting. I am definitely one that if like I would be holding that grudge for a couple thousand years, no problem. So that's where I am. But if you have not seen The Passion of the Christ, don't worry. You don't have to be a Bible thumper. You don't even have to be Christian. It is a very well put together story. And I just recommend everybody checks it out if you haven't yet. So John, your thoughts on The Passion?
Well, this is the version that I watched, which is the theatrical run on it.
Okay.
It does not have any special features. I recommend if people are going to buy this one, which is the iconic special edition. It's 2 DVDs, and it has audio commentaries and documentaries, and comes even with like this little postcard here. And this is the one to get. I thought this was the re-release where the movie was cut down with violence, because it really is 2 hours of a guy being whipped. But it's
spoiler alert.
Yeah. And so, but I do own both because I am a Mel Gibson fan. And I will let people know that, for the ones who don't know, I am not a believer. I watch these films as movies, even though I do look at to see if things are correct. And it's like I do own PureFlix movies because I think that how they treat atheists and non-believers is hysterical. So for me, these are movies, but I do like to check, are these things correct? The thing with Passion is a lot of it. So they did their research while writing it. Mel Gibson was one of the writers. And a lot of this is accurate to what is written, except Mel Gibson does not like Jews and Mel Gibson does not like gays. So they've said the whole Jewish trope in Passion and in general is wrong. It was the Romans. And from what I've also read, that it was a business deal, because it is brought up in the film that it's business, that Christ be crucified. And there's all these theories and conspiracies and stuff around it. My biggest problem is how he's crucified. And people were not crucified with their palms. They were crucified in their wrist because of the two bones, and the nail would go through, and that's what would hold them up. If you put them with their palms, which is why I think stigmata is wrong, they would rip right through, and that would for basically anybody who was being crucified. But as a film goes, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made. I think Mel Gibson is a good director. I think he's a good producer. I thought the performances were good. It is subtitled. Some of it's not subtitled. So I think he just did because he wanted to not subtitle the movie. And it would be kind of like, if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. But the studio insisted on subtitling it. So he subtitled the important parts of the film. But there is a lot of dialogue that isn't subtitled. And I think you have to hit English subtitles to get the subtitles. Otherwise, the film is just in its own language. But I did enjoy it. It was funny is when you and Miranda and I were shooting, I mentioned that I did see a scene from this where Jesus creates, because he's a carpenter, that he creates the dining room table and dining room chair. And you guys laughed at me. You said, no, that can't be right. That can't be right at all.
I missed that in the movie. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, his mom, they have like seats to sit in, and then there are tables, but Jesus is making like a long table. It's very fancy. And his mom comes out and goes, hey, what are you making? And he's like, oh, this is for a rich person. And she goes, well, what are they supposed to do at it? And he goes, sit at it. And she goes, what? And then he kind of crouches down, like, he's at the table. And then she goes around and does the same thing. And they're kind of weighing out the table. And then she looks at him and goes, this will never catch on. And then she leaves. And I'm like, is this meant to be funny? Like,
I think it was. It was all supposed to be a joke. I thought that was, well, I mean, it was Jesus with his mom, like having fun, like joking back and forth.
So Jesus,
yeah.
he created the dining room table and dining room chair. So, so add that to the list.
There you go. Yeah. Well, let's get to a couple of these questions, comments, and stuff over here. Let's see. So Christian says, you guys should watch Jesus Christ Zombie Hunter. A filmmaker made it all on silent 16 millimeter and matched up the sound. It's a musical zombie film. I've never seen this. Have you seen it, John?
No, I know of it. I know of it, but I've never seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll add that to the list there. Jeff says original Ben-Hur is a classic, a must watch. And I know, and I think I even own it, but I just never.
It's supposed to be a great film. I have not seen it either, but it is like 3 hours. So
Fluffy says he's Ben-Hur, and then Robert says no, he is. Maybe there's a thing going on with the movie, like about being Ben-Hur. So I don't know. I don't feel Ben-Hur is a religious movie, says Larry. Okay, I wouldn't know. But it was came on
the list.
There you go. Yeah, and you got that list from Google, or was it?
Yeah, I just Googled like best films to watch at Easter, and it was on the list. And I was like, oh, I happen to own these movies, so I grabbed it.
Okay, John, have you ever seen the movie Night School?
If they're referring to the slasher movie, then yes, I own it.
And that's what, because there's a Night School with Kevin Hart comedy I have not seen. There's like no chance I'm gonna watch that. But
there is a slasher film where the killer is on a motorcycle, uses a motorcycle, has like a motorcycle helmet on to disguise themselves. It had, oh God, I'm blanking on her name, but it has the woman from Sharky's Machine and the Steve Martin black and white comedy that he did. She's in that one too.
Rachel Ward?
Rachel Ward, yeah.
How do you forget a name like that?
Tell me about it.
But yes, and so that is from 1981. Yeah, that's a great horror movie. Let's see what it's got a 5.6 on IMDb, which is a fair score, for that type of movie. But for being an 81 non mainstream movie, I think it's pretty darn good. So I have and enjoyed it. I think I watched it. I want to say I'd have to go back through my letterbox and look, but within the last couple years, I'm pretty sure. And I know Night School is.
It's one of those like sub slasher movies. Like, you got the Friday the 13th and the Halloweens, and then you kind of got the sub ones. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I have it on VHS, but I think that's still Warner Archive. And so it falls into more of the like curtains, New Year's Evil, into like that area. So there's like the main guys, and then there's like the sub group of slasher movies. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. Larry says, what are your favorite, and this is something we got to talk about, Easter candy. What are your favorite fruit candies to eat while watching a movie? I don't know that I go that deep into picking favorite candies to watch. I eat whatever is handy. Whatever's in the house is what I'm eating. But I'll tell you what, the Easter Bunny brought me some Cadbury eggs, a 4-pack of the regular ones, and then a 4-pack of the chocolate ones. Nice. And so I have a couple of those left there, and some Peeps. Did you have any Easter candy, John?
I did have a Charleston Chew.
Okay.
I did have some Twizzlers.
Okay.
Did have a couple cookies. But if I went out to purposely buy candy for Easter to watch a movie with, yeah, I'd probably grab some Peeps, jelly beans. I would get some of the like the slices, like the orange slices.
Oh, yeah, I love orange slices. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of put them all into one big, like a glass type of jar or something like that, and just eat out of that.
Yeah. There you go. I love Easter candy. Easter is probably my favorite. The candy from Easter is probably my favorite holiday. I love Halloween, and I love getting the candy at Halloween, but the candy specifically for Easter with like the big Reese's chocolate eggs, or the Cadbury eggs, jelly beans, like stuff like that. The Peeps. Oh man, the little marshmallows with the sugar on it. Forget about it. Love that.
Forget about it.
So Sean says, is Critters 2 an Easter movie? Now this may be blasphemy. I'm not a big monster movie fan. I have never seen Critters. I have never seen Critters 2. And I may or may not own them. I don't remember, but I just don't give a shit to watch them. But now don't tell Tom Devlin that, because I think Tom Devlin said Critters 2 is greatest horror movie of all time.
I wouldn't go that far, but it is really good. I mean, it's got an awesome director on it, and it takes place, because the critters kill a guy in a Easter the Easter bunny costume, and the critters' eggs are like Easter eggs.
Okay.
So it's very much. I would say the first two are definitely worth watching, and you can kind of push everything else aside.
There you go. I saw The Passion at theaters at the time you heard people crying. I believe it.
I've heard that.
If you are very religious and you're watching that movie, I'll tell you, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to sit there and cry at that, but I'm the kind of guy who's going to get fired up and want to go whoop some ass. Like, you know what? If it's like, I know they didn't have them back then, but Mary sitting there watching her son get whipped and whipped and whipped. Man, if she could time travel, she could go to the year 2025, down to her local Marine base and pick up an M249 saw and go down there and just level that entire Roman army there. Just fully automatic weapon, fires over 1,000 rounds.
Oh yeah, have her come out of nowhere in like a chopper.
That's
and then
what
they're
I'm
just hovering
about.
over, and she's just got the big machine gun.
Just like like the Vietnamese in the rice fields, bah, just mowing them down. That's what I wanted to see. It didn't happen, but hey, speaking of The Passion, and speaking of what should have happened and what didn't happen, apparently we're getting a sequel to that. What do you know about that? Because I don't know much aside from the fact it's happening.
Mel Gibson is returning. A lot of the cast is returning. I don't like the title that it's called The Passion of the Christ Resurrection. I think it should be called Resurrection of the Christ. I think that's, but of course he wants to keep it, P and P. So when
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
I get that. Jim Caviezel is going to be back in it, and he said that it's going to be, they're going to do that de-aging on him.
Okay. Yeah, I love Jim Caviezel, man. I absolutely love Jim Caviezel. He's a phenomenal actor, been in so many good things. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything Passion of the Christ 2 related on IMDb yet here. Let's see if Jim Caviezel has
It should be
any
under Mel Gibson's. I think it says like
comment.
pre-production.
Oh, here you go. So under pre-production, it does. So now there's, and this is sometimes you just cannot trust IMDb because there's the resurrection of the Christ where he plays Jesus. And then below that, there's the Passion of the Christ Resurrection, chapter 2. So I think somebody made 2 titles and somebody put it up there. So I don't know who did that. And I don't know how accurate either one of those are. But based on what you said, I would probably go with Passion of the Christ Resurrection. And the only thing there is Mel Gibson's director and Jim Caviezel. Other than that, there's nothing. So
yeah, Mel Gibson said like Monica Bellucci is going to come back. So I guess he said that to everybody,
okay.
That there was an interview with him where he, where he talked about it because he's also doing Lethal Weapon 5. So he's going to be directing that. He's going to take over for Richard Donner.
Okay.
And Danny Glover will be coming back. I don't know how many other people will be, but Danny Glover, I believe, is coming back.
Okay. Robert C says Critters is an Easter movie. What up, Nate? Nate says Mel Gibson as Mad Max is the only reason he matters. That's funny. I messed up. I mean, the Lethal Weapon movies are pretty fun. Mel Gibson's, got some other good stuff. I understand a lot of folks. He rubbed a lot of folks the wrong way. But are you referring, Nate, because of who he is or his movies? I'm sitting here waiting for an answer, but like that, I mean, he's going to type and stuff. But what are your? I know you're a fan of Mel Gibson. What's the basis of your fandom?
I've been a fan of him since The Road Warrior. My mother even found me a car that looked like his V8. That was my first car, and I even had the blonde streak in my hair from The Road Warrior.
Oh God!
And I would have my hair was like his. I was told when I was younger, believe it or not, that when I was in high school, I looked like Treat Williams and Mel Gibson. I knew a girl whose father produced the movie Smooth Talk with Treat Williams, and she said that I should go get headshots done to give to her because I could play Treat Williams like son or brother. But I've been a huge fan of Mel Gibson since Road Warrior. I became less of a fan when he got all weird. And then I kind of went back to him when he was more accepted and then kind of rewatched a lot of his movies and went to see the films that I missed. So I've loved Mad Max. I've come to like Mad Max 3 over the years. I understand why he's not in the new Mad Max. George Miller appears to be very woke. And when he was asked by an interviewer if Mel Gibson would ever return, he said no. So, but in, I think it's Machete 2, Robert Rodriguez and Mel Gibson are very well aware that the chase scene at the end is Mad Max, that he is Mad Max. So I think Mel would do it if he was asked. But yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword with a lot of this stuff. Like Tom Cruise with Scientology.
Yeah. Scientology, though, he didn't come out and start, berating Jews and, he didn't go on a drunken rant on the side of the road that Mel Gibson did. And that, I think, is the difference. I know a lot of people don't like Tom Cruise because of Scientology, because of what the Scientologists are accused of, how they treat their people and stuff. But Mel Gibson, the video of him is pretty bad. But the funny thing in that is Robert Downey Jr. pretty much owes his career to Mel Gibson. And Mel Gibson owes the resurrection of his career, how funny, to Robert Downey Jr. So it's kind of funny the way that plays with those two guys.
Yeah, they really helped each other out a lot, and it's yeah, because even like somebody on Facebook is I put up something. It might have been for Mission Impossible where I said, "Oh, I can't wait to go see the new." This was years ago. Can't wait to go see the new Mission Impossible film or whatever it was. And somebody said, "Well, I can't go see him because he's a Scientologist."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, do you not go see movies because somebody is Christian? Do you not see movies because somebody is Muslim? Do you not go see movies because somebody is Indian?" It's like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Where do you draw the line? I disagree with you. I'm not going to see the movie because there's somebody gay in it. I'm not going to see the movie because, this or that or whatever. So, I mean, everybody has to make their own decisions, but I'm with you. There's a lot of movies I've watched that I'm like, yeah, this is tough, but the movie's still worth it. Jeepers Creepers, for example.
Yeah, that's a tough one that, when I interviewed the writer for the fourth one, there was criticism. So one, just saying it was a bad movie, but also like, how can you interview this person, or how can, the writer be part of that franchise? And so you just really have to separate yourself from it.
Yeah. Yeah. But so anyways, I will disagree with Mel Gibson basically being only, that we only care about him because of Mad Max, because I'll tell you, and I love the movie. I remember as a kid reading the book and knowing a lot about Captain William Bligh, and that is the movie The Bounty with Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. Phenomenal. Then you have obviously the whole Mad Max franchise, the Lethal Weapon franchise. Maybe it was cheesy, but Air America was still kind of fun.
With Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, there you go. I completely forgot about that. But Maverick was great. And I mean, Braveheart, I have never seen Braveheart because I can't, the whole fake accent thing, which is funny because of him kind of, being Australian in the first place or whatever. But that accent, maybe someday I'll watch Braveheart.
But which is funny is he's not Australian. He's from New York.
Yeah.
His parents, so he was born in New York, and his dad transferred to work in Australia because he worked for like the train company. And so Mel Gibson was always looked at as a Yank. He's talked about how he was bullied, but he adopted the accent, and I guess the accent never went away. So, I mean, you could say, yeah, he is Australian because he lived there, when he was a little kid, like a little kid, but he wasn't born there. He's, he might have citizenship now, but it's
just New York. It's just like, sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes. No. It's just like these, probably 20 million liberals that all were felt like outcasts in their home state, and they all moved to California, and they all call themselves Californians now. But a true Californian is a Reagan Californian, somebody who's been around for a long time and voted red. All the people that came to California and dyed their hair blue and voted blue, they're not, I mean, they live here now, but are they really Californians? You can question that, just like, is Mel Gibson Australian or not? But
with California, I would say, somebody's from California when they say California or San Francisco. If they say I'm going to Cali, which I frigging hate, I'm going to Frisco, then they don't live in California, or if they do, they're not from California. So I've lived except for Vegas, I've lived in California my entire life. So
nobody says Cali. The going back to Cali song was because it worked, and they were New Yorkers. Nobody calls it Cali. Yeah, and real Californians don't wear the fucking California hat with the bear. They don't. So, but anyways, so more about Mel Gibson. Payback, I thought was good. The Patriot was good. We Were Soldiers, amazing. Signs, I thought was pretty good. Edge of Darkness was pretty good. Get the Gringo, Machete Kills, Expendables 3, and more recently, Fat Man. I still haven't seen Fat Man, but I've heard good things about it.
I love when you take somebody who everybody thinks is a villain, like in real life, like Mel Gibson, and you make him Santa Claus. I mean, to me, that is awesome. That is great.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I've been looking to buy that. I just haven't found it at the store at all anywhere, and I haven't bothered searching over here. I will wait till Christmas to find that if I don't find it in Zia before then.
He did make a God, this guy's movies are so good because he also did Bone Tomahawk. He did Dragged Across Concrete. Mel Gibson is in that. My God, what a great movie. That is such an amazing film.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen it.
It is so violent. God, is it violent.
Nice. Killer Care Bear, what's up? The Robe is a good religious movie. Oh, I haven't heard of or seen The Robe. Are you familiar with that, John?
It's old school. Yeah.
Okay. I saw Night School in theaters on $1 Tuesday back in the day. Nice. Love the old school movies where you can go see movies for like $1, even if it's like one day a week, or the cheap theaters and stuff. That stuff's awesome. Dude, Critters 2 is the perfect Easter movie. Okay, nice. I know I gotta watch it.
Definitely top 5. Yeah, but it is pretty perfect as far as like a sci-fi horror Easter movie goes. Yeah,
dude. Nick, good call here. I like Jim Caviezel in The Count of Monte Cristo. I love The Count of Monte Cristo and Jim Caviezel. I love how you have Jesus Christ and Captain America in the same movie. I think that's phenomenal. So love that. Have you watched Count of Monte Cristo yet, John? You bought it, right?
I bought it because of you, and no, I haven't watched it yet. But when you give your two actors, I've brought this up before. I think it's great in Escape Plan, the Stallone movie, where Jim Caviezel is the son of God, and then you have also how am I blanking on his name? What's his face, who played Damien in Omen 3, the son of the devil, in the same movie. So you got son of God, son of the devil in the same film, but Jim Caviezel's character, the warden, is the evil one, and then the son, what's his face, who plays God? What is his name?
So it's Jurassic like Park and stuff.
Yeah, then he plays the good guy in it. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, those movies, man. Maybe one day I'll get to those.
The first one is worth it.
Okay. The Patriot is a good one too. Yes, Nick, we agree on that. Sean says Holidays 2016. I really like Holidays, and I know, Kevin Smith's bit is not the best of it, but I think the rest of it, or even, I mean, I thought it was all pretty good. You're shaking your head adamantly no.
I didn't like it. Kevin Smith's short killed it for me. Absolutely killed it. I think I turned it off after that. Wow. I said, I'm done. I'm just absolutely done. Yeah, I'm not a Kevin Smith fan really to begin with. So
wow. Tusk? You like Tusk?
I've seen it twice.
I thought it was great.
It was okay. I like his early stuff. I like Mallrats and Clerks, and I guess Chasing Amy. And I mean, I think he should have ended with Clerks 2. Start with Clerks, end with Clerks 2. And I think he would have had a great run. And instead he just went on.
Yeah. Money talks. I can see liking someone's work, but not like them as a person. Agreed, Jennifer. And that is, so, I mean, if we look at like art throughout history, I mean, there's paintings, there's different things, there's books, all kinds of stuff written or done or created by people that we might go like, like I don't know about that person. So I think, it's tough, but sometimes, especially in a movie where you might have 150 people involved, to shun that movie because one person was, and I mean, I know when it's the director, that's pretty hard, but it's tough. Oh, you know what? And I didn't even, mention that Apocalypto. So, because I was just going for the stuff he acted in. But Mel Gibson, man, Apocalypto. And now your thoughts on Apocalypto, John? I'm guessing I know how you feel about this, but what are your thoughts on Apocalypto?
I own it. I own everything that he's directed. It's pretty violent. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I never
Okay.
thought of a part two, but that would be interesting. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what John's getting at. Yeah, I agree with you, Jennifer. Yeah, basically that's what we're saying is just because you got a problem with a person, it's hard to disregard a whole, especially a franchise. Spielberg has a saying, "Don't blink." Okay.
I'm not sure about
Okay.
that, Christian. I don't know what that
Yeah.
means.
I watched Desert Fiends, had some good kills and a few very funny jokes. Okay, Jeff. So now I have not seen Desert Fiends. I will watch it at some point. I'm probably going to wait for streaming. I don't know that I'm going to run out and buy it. And here's my thoughts on that. I wish Chauncey Phillips, aka Cool Duder, I wish him the best. Go out, make movies, do what you do. More power to you. I think it's great. It's very cool what he's accomplished, getting movies done, getting them distributed. That's very good stuff. I have some philosophical differences with the way that they and other people, they're not the only ones doing this, go about getting their movies made. And I'm just not a fan of that. I don't hold that against Sean or anybody involved with the film, but because those philosophical differences, I just don't see myself spending money on this. So, but I'll probably watch it at some point. Have you seen Desert Fiends, John?
No, I got mad at Sean when he was making the film. So I don't think he knows I was mad at him, but that I was mad because he shot it out here in Vegas. He really didn't include any Vegas people in the making. He did ask me to look for some locations, which I said I would, and then I never heard back at all. And I would have, I would have worked for free on the film, like I do on a lot of stuff. Just give me that, like associate producer credit, and I'll help you out any way that I can. So I like Sean. I do, consider him to be, a friend because I have worked with him in the past. But I'll watch it eventually. I'll do the same thing as you, probably streaming. I just haven't done it yet.
See, and I know, and I've known that you felt that way about if you want to make a movie in Vegas, you feel like they should use some Vegas folks. I don't see it that way. And we're going to have to agree to disagree on this, because this is the way I look at it. His pre-production is taking place in California. So if I'm doing pre-production in California, I want my DP, I want my AD, I want my producers, I want all of my people out there. If I'm doing table reads, I want my people there. Also, Vegas, it's a big city, but as far as the talent pool, it's very much smaller and not nearly on par with the talent pool you're going to get from LA. So I don't have a problem with that. It would have been cool. It would have been kind of nice for him to do that. But isn't Nightmare Christie involved in it? And like Nicole Vegas, they're Vegas people, right?
I know Nicole Vegas is. I think she's involved in part two. I'm going to slightly disagree with you on these things, because when Charles Band came out here to do Evil Bong 777, he did bring all of his regular people from LA out to here, but then he did hire, like myself, PAs to work on the film. And so they hired local people. So they did get some local people out here. Of course, Tom Devlin probably had a lot to do with that since he's out here too. But it was nice to see that the LA people, which were his regular people, out here, but then he did, let Vegas be part of that too. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. Well, and no, and here's the thing. I'm not saying that you go like, okay, nobody from Vegas can be involved. But what I'm saying is, if you have a movie and let's say your budget's $50,000, that's not a lot of money. And now if you have your DP, you have your whole crew and everybody that you have to get out there, you have to put them in hotels, you have to hire actors, you have to do all this stuff. There may not be a lot of money for DPs or to hire extra people. And sometimes, like for me, unless I have a specific need for somebody, I don't want them on set. I just don't want extra bodies around because they tend to get in the way or they start talking. It's extra things. So, but I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying I kind of feel like you get people from where you can get people that are good enough to do the job. Like DEI. I'm not hiring somebody because they're from Vegas. I'm hiring somebody because they can do the job. And
well, if you're from LA and you're shooting in Vegas, you also get Vegas people because you don't have to pay them to be in a hotel. You don't. They're right here. So every night, because we shot for four days with Evil Bong, because a lot of it was shot in LA, and then he came out to do the Vegas stuff because of 777, the whole Lucky thing. And when we're done shooting, we go home. Yeah. So you're not having to put us up, in a place. So that's one of the advantages. And it wouldn't be extra bodies. It would be production assistants. And, one person works in this area and another person works in that area. You only hire
if you need them. Yeah. If you need them. Yes. No, if you need them. Yeah. But no, and that's a very good point. Yeah. You're not having to put them up or transport them or anything like that. But those people also now can't be a part of your pre-production. So, and I don't want anybody on my set who's not involved, in pre-production meetings in some way, shape, or form. So, but I mean, hey, everybody's different with the way they do movies. And I understand, especially if he was going to reach out to you and go like, hey, can you help me out with locations or something like that? Then, maybe he could have, thrown a few bones out to folks in Vegas. But it's a lot, especially putting together a cast. It's a lot easier to do it in Vegas or in LA than Vegas. Because I think too, a lot of like when I tried to cast in Vegas, like for Wild Game, so many people went, how much I'm getting paid? Like, okay, well, show me your resume. Oh, what have you done? Were you in Mission Impossible? Were you in this or that? Like, why do you deserve to get paid? When I have hundreds of thousands of people from LA that will work for free because they understand they want to build their resume. Well, you should give me at least $50 a day. If the movie is that small of a budget where I'm going to pay somebody $50 a day, wouldn't it be better to put that money toward craft services or effects or something to make the film a little bit better? And that's where I think a lot of folks that I've encountered out there have a skewed perspective. I'm not saying everybody, there's a lot of good people out there. But a lot of people have a skewed perspective of what is important in creating art. And that's what you're doing when you're making a movie. You're creating art. And sometimes it's tough when you're that far away. If you're in California, you're based in California, and you get to interact with these people, prior to production, I kind of think it makes it a little easier. And that's my only thing. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I kind of understand people going to film somewhere and not really incorporating Vegas people or wherever you're filming, So that's that's my thoughts. But anyways, my philosophical difference is that they, like other folks that we know, sell roles like Cool Duder and the other folks involved with the Desert Fiends movie. They're selling roles. They were at conventions and it's like, oh, you want to be in this movie, pay us and you can be in the movie. And my thought is, if I'm making a movie, I've written a script, I have a story to tell. I can't just take somebody and put them in the movie because they don't contribute to my story that I'm telling. Or if somebody buys a part in my movie, if they're not a good actor, I don't want them in my movie. So I don't like the whole buy a role in my movie. Because one thing for me, if I'm sitting watching a movie and it's an hour and a half or 2 hours long, the last thing I want is to watch scenes that don't advance the story. Scenes that are just there to get somebody's face on camera. I don't want to see any of that. I want the story to continue moving. So I don't know. I have a problem with selling roles. It's one thing to crowdfund, but to sell roles, I don't like it. To me, that makes the art kind of shallow and not good. It's doing it rather than doing what you want to do. If that makes sense. So before we move on, any final thoughts on that stuff, John?
I don't mind that because if you already have the script, then you should be able to know where that person is going. I did that for Ghoul and Aximus 3 and 4, but I already knew where those people would go. And it would basically just be killing. Just the Santa Claus killer kills a homeless person walking outside. Oh, okay. You paid for a part. You could be that homeless person. I would not sell a part to somebody without knowing in the script where they would fit in. But if you're doing these ultra low budget movies that, then you're going to probably add, 5 people bought scenes. Now I have to add in these 5 scenes that aren't necessary because they did it. So you should only do, if you want to, a couple of them, 2, 3, maybe, with characters that are already in the script.
Yeah, well, see, and that's where I think to me, I agree with what you're saying there. If you have, I need just a generic person to get killed. Okay, that's fine. But still, then I don't know. I worry about the quality of actor, the caliber of acting, and what challenges that may present. And not only that, but then you're taking an opportunity away from like a skilled, trained thespian to sell it to somebody who is never, doesn't know anything about movie making or acting or anything. So, I mean, and that's, I get it. When you're making indie films, a lot of times you have to do what you have to do to get the film done. And so we forgive a lot, of those type of things when we watch movies. But I don't know. I just, more power to them. I hope the movie does well, and I hope they make many more. I just personally wouldn't want to be a part of selling roles. Just my philosophy on it. So we did a lot of questions there. Now, the other movie that we both saw was Exodus. And I know I talked about Passion first. So why don't you give us your thoughts on Exodus first, and then I'll say mine.
Well, so Exodus and probably Noah have as much historical truth to them as Braveheart. Braveheart is now is the film that I use for historical movies, because only 1% of Braveheart is real. Everything else is fictional. He didn't do Braveheart did not do Wallace did not do the big speech. It was another guy. It's the whole movie's based on a poem, and then it's kind of what they took from other sources. These are the same type of thing, is that it follows Moses. We do get his background. So it's not an origin movie, because they only tell us about him being put into the basket as a kid and, floated down the river, which has a lot of the same history as Hercules does. But it's what I like about this is that it is an action. It's Ridley Scott, and this is Gladiator. This is very much an action movie with religious or biblical things in it. I mean, this right here is supposed to be the parting of the Red Sea. This is not in the movie. It really isn't. Well, there's Moses is never standing there parting the Red Sea because he even says it.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this is it explains the 10 plagues of Egypt, and how even though they do say like 2 or 3 of them are actually from God, that everything it has a reason. Why did the rivers run red with blood? Because crocodiles were eating the fishermen, and the
But-
blood was running down.
But God
So-
sent the crocodiles. Remember the
Did
little
he?
kid, the burning bush? Yeah.
Well, he said, watch what happens.
And so insinuating that he was sending the crocodiles.
Well, that's kind of messed up, isn't it?
Oh no, it's really fucked up. And that's why I commented you kind of going like, man, this little kid God is quite a little son of a gun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think I phrased it differently, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So it's more of it says the epic story of Moses, and I was following. I was Googling, like, did this happen? Did this not happen? But I took it all from more of a fictional point of view of Moses, just like Passion. So it's I don't, and I like how they all speak English. I like how they have different accents, and they even use some modern slang. So it's hey Moses, how you doing? What's going on here? You out there, parting some seas today? None of it feels like dialogue from this time period at all.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I think it's an awesome movie, and it really is like Gladiator, because he starts as a prince and kind of Conan. Of the prince, he gets thrown into being a slave because they find out that he's a Jew, and then he rises up and takes set my people free and takes them away, and they fight, and so it's an awesome movie. I love this film.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned it. And so after John mentioned Exodus, he mentioned it, and then he mentioned that it was like over 2 hours long. So I was like, ooh, because what was it, like 2:15? No, it was 2:30, right?
It was 2:30. This was the longest one, yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, I don't know. But then you sent me another message talking about some of the things going on and how it really felt like an action movie. And I was like, okay, you know what? That sounds good. And I put it on, and I don't want to say edge of my seat the entire time, but I was really into it. There's a lot of movies where I'll find myself playing Minecraft, or not Minecraft, playing, I said Minecraft because, but playing like Tetris, or playing solitaire or something.
That will be a movie soon, as I'm sure.
But no, well, Tetris was a movie. They just did it. I mean, not like Minecraft, but the creation of Tetris and all that just happened. But I was not bored at all. I was into it, and it's a lot of action. There's a lot going on. It is a big saga. There's so much to it. It's very well put together. The cast is phenomenal. Some of the people in it just kind of like piss you off, and you're like, oh, I want to see this person get theirs. And there's spoiler alert, I'm not going to name names, but there's a couple people that is very funny when the plagues are happening and Ramsey's kind of like pissed off and he's just over it. He's like asking that one person, well, can we do anything about this? And he's like, and then the next shot is them falling through, like into a noose, being hung.
Yeah.
And then a minute later, he's talking to the one woman, asking her like, well, what about this? And she's like, and then the next shot, boom, there she goes, falling from the gallows. So there was some funny stuff, but you are right. I would have liked, if maybe not, they didn't have to all go into accents, but to speak more biblical or speak more the way they would have at the time, that type of speech. The Passion of the Christ with the speech, maybe I had the words on the whole time, because I was able to read it all.
Yeah, my DVD, if you just put it in and you hit play, there's nothing. There's no subtitles. It's just them speaking in a different language. And then I had to go into English subtitles, and it would, like, when all the guards are whipping him, when he's like cuffed or tied to that post, a lot of the dialogue wasn't there unless it like meant something, I guess. So but with Exodus, what's interesting is that Moses was not a warrior. Moses was not a hero. He was a guy, and so showing Christian Bale as like King Arthur or something, or Conan, never happened. They also don't know how Ramis died. I know one of the theories is that he drowned. And I was thinking, with the parting of the Red Sea, and then the sea comes back, and he gets kind of engulfed in the water. I'm like, oh, they're doing that theory. Because I read there's like theory 1, theory 2, theory 3. And then we see him up on the beach and he's okay. So that's when I have an issue with a lot of this stuff, is that you would think that there would be, if this was true, that it would have some sort of historical record of what happened. And but I love Exodus. I mean, it's like I said, it's Ridley Scott. It is very much, has the feeling of Gladiator and Gladiator 2, and some of his other, Ridley Scott's other kind of historical, movies and stuff. So it's I could watch this anytime. I really liked it.
No, it was very good. And that's where, for me, I am not one. I do like, and I've done what you said at times, Googled, did this really happen or that really, whatever. But with this one, whether it's accurate or not, it's a great movie, and had a lot of fun with it. I think like the effects and all the different things, like it looked great. It was so well put together. And the parting of the Red Seas, I've always imagined the parting of the Red Seas is like the water just like going kind of back, like cartoonish. The way they did it here was so cool. And then when the sea was coming back and it's like, oh shit, we gotta go. That was pretty intense, so I like that. Does it have some flaws? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like you're talking about the parting of the Red Sea like this. In the 10 Commandments, Moses, is Charlton Heston. That's how it happens. He has like a staff and he puts it out like Gandalf, and the seas part like that, and they have the dry land to walk through. And even in the silent version of it, it's the same thing. The water parts. This, Moses says, it's the tides. And he knows the tides, the time of the tides, which is why I like how they kind of debunk a lot of this thing of, that things were sent from God. Well, as the people in Raimi's, castle or whatever you want to call it, it's the guy explains it. We have the crocodiles that eat the people that then kill the fish. The fish then go up, they're up above. They get the, they get the maggots and the flies, and that causes the plague. And then we got the frogs, and the frogs can't live in bloody water. So he explains everything in a very logical type of way. And I really like that a lot. Yeah. And I know Christian Bale pissed off a lot of people, because when he was interviewed, he's like, oh yeah, Moses is nuts. He goes, oh yeah, he's a nutty guy.
That was my next point with this. It's very interesting, because you can watch this movie and say, God did these things. God sent the crocodiles. God sent the, the locusts and the flies and all this stuff. God sent these storms. But also, you could say, yes, Moses, he got hit in the head with a bunch of falling rocks and stuff. Maybe the kid was never there. Maybe he was batshit crazy and got really lucky and got all those people out of there. Because we do know, after the movie ends, they spend the next 40 years wandering around the desert trying to figure out where they're going. So maybe Moses wasn't so lucky for 40 years after that. So, I mean, you could argue these things happened because of God. And you could say, no, it was just coincidence, because there was no true magic that was evident. It wasn't like Noah went, okay, part seas and the seas peel back. I thought for a second when he threw the sword into the water, I thought, oh, now here comes the sea's gonna part. But
Well, that's Excalibur. That's King Arthur.
uh,
He pulls the sword out, and
okay.
and so it's taken from a lot of this stuff. Like nobody really knows if King Arthur existed. Nobody really knows if Robin Hood existed. It's and to me this is the same thing. It's like with Noah, I was messaging you with Noah that there are rock monsters in this.
Yeah, and
At one point these guys are trying to get food, so Noah rescues this weird combination of like a coyote and like an armadillo.
yeah.
So there are monsters in this,
Hmm.
and the rock creatures help him build the ark. Because once the ark is done, that's when the first drop of water hits.
Hmm.
And this felt like, and I messaged you this really felt like Mad Max. Like if
Yeah.
Russell Crowe was Mad Max, this really felt like it was a post-apocalyptic film going into, an apocalypse movie once the rain hits.
Yeah.
And Noah it's the same thing. He is nuts. He's normal at the beginning. He's kind of not a believer. And then all of a sudden he is. And and now he's talking to God, and now God is telling him this, and you got to build this ark, and all of these animals will come, but I believe in the Bible the rock creatures are mentioned. So they're called the Watchers. I don't know if it's called that in the Bible, but it's a very weird movie, and I love it as much as Exodus because it's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It really is Lord of the Rings.
See, and it's funny because like when you sent me the message about Exodus telling me about it, you sold me. I was like, oh, I need to go watch this movie now. I'm going to find it. And then you sent me the message about the monsters or the creatures and everything else about Noah. And I was like, I don't need to see that at all. Yeah. So as much as you sold me for Exodus, you lost me on Noah. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm not a fantasy fan. I don't care about medieval sword fighting and monsters and dragons and all that stuff. Lord of the Rings. What was the show on HBO that everybody was pissed off about the last season?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I've watched as much Game of Thrones as I have Fast and the Furious, and that's about the first 10 minutes of the franchise, and then tapped out. So yeah, no, I don't push me on it. I will never watch either of those. So yeah, I'm just not a fan. They're not for me. It's not to say they're bad. It's just they're not for me. And some people like pickles. I'll never fucking know why. Some people like me don't. So it's just what it is. But yeah, what's up, Daniel? Sorry, we've been kind of ignoring the comments a little bit there, but we knew there was going to be a lot to talk about tonight. So man, we have watched some movies lately. Now, so you watched The Passion of the Christ, Exodus, and Noah. So did you have anything else that you wanted to say about Noah before we move on past these?
No, it's also another one of these things where I was doing research, on it when it happened. And, as a kid, I was kind of fascinated with some of this stuff, like, In Search of Historical Jesus and In Search of Noah's Ark. There was a film company. I'm blanking on their name. I own a couple films from them, but they made all these like the Lincoln Conspiracy. These all played in the theaters, and then eventually they went to TV. And I think like Bigfoot was one of their movies too. And it was fascinating to me. So I love these types of movies, even though I'm not a religious person, but I love watching these. And then what did and especially something like, Passion, with knowing that Mel Gibson is such a religious guy, and that his dad was, also a preacher, and they built their own church and kind of started their own religion. That, okay, well, how close is he going to, make this? Like, did they do their research? And for the most part, it looks like they did. I'm guessing some of this stuff from like Noah or Exodus happened, it's well, happened within the context of Moses or Noah, because I don't believe they happened in real life. But how close did they get it? But then it's a Hollywood movie, so you have to include these type of things. And if the Bible does mention these rock monsters, you got to put them in, because now you're going to get the Lord of the Rings fans. So
yeah. See, and that's what, for me, unless it says documentary, I don't care at all about historical accuracy. I'm watching a movie to be entertained. Entertain me, I say. But if it says documentary, you better have your shit together. That's what I want to see, accuracies. But I'm very glad, thankful that you recommended Exodus, and that I decided finally to get with it and watch Passion. But in addition to those, I have been binging since we went to Zia, and I picked up the entire Conjuring franchise. I own them all now, including The Curse of La Llorona. And so aside from The Nun 2, I don't own The Nun 2. They didn't have it at either Zia. So that was strange. I'm going to have to just order a copy online. But I watched, but The Nun 2 just came out, 2023, so a year and a half ago or something. I've watched The Nun, Annabelle Creation. The Nun 2 would have been after that, but obviously I didn't watch that, but I've seen it recently. But then after that would be Annabelle, and then The Conjuring, I think, is it, and then Annabelle Comes Home, and then The Conjuring 2. So now I need to watch The Conjuring 3 and Curse of La Llorona, and I think I'm done with that franchise. As far as it, and out of all those, I've realized the only one I had never seen before so far was the Annabelle Comes Home, which in my opinion is the weakest of the franchise. And then The Nun would be the second weakest. But now, have you seen all the Conjuring movies, the whole universe there, John?
Yes. Yeah. Jonathan Moody and I on his channel reviewed all of them. So we got onto a James Wan kick. So we were watching, as long as it was horror related, we watched everything James Wan. So, but we didn't watch stuff like, I've already seen it, but like Death Sentence, things like that, we didn't watch because they're not horror.
Gotcha. But I'm having a blast with the Conjuring movies. I just, especially the first Conjuring, I forgot how much I love that movie. It's just absolutely a great movie, and it's a great franchise. So I'm having a blast with it. So I'm glad I was able to pick those up at Zia, and I'm definitely gonna have to get a copy of The Nun too. But those are a blast. Been watching those. I know Wicked. I know most people love Mustard.
Love Mustard.
Not a fan. But Balzer knows what's up. Not a fan. They were trying a while back. Somebody was suggesting, would I eat a jar of mustard for like $500? And the answer is no. I don't know that I could do a teaspoon for $500. So I just maybe I just don't need the money that bad. Not a fan. So I've been watching the Conjuring franchise there. What else have you been watching lately? I did get the notification that you went live. I just looked at my phone, so that's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's I have it right here. So, yeah. So that's cool. God, that's White Lotus is done. So they finished that. They finished Daredevil. And so I have the Righteous Gemstones that I'm still watching. That's almost done. But I just been, I mean, we were going to do something with Mission Impossible. So I watched those, the Expendables movies. Yeah, just been watching some random movies. I mean, I have a stack here of stuff that I picked up. So when we have time, I'll show those.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, we will. So let me, there's one movie I saw recently that I need to rant about here a little bit. I don't think you've seen this because we talked about it. But Lady Fat Blood and that Fat Samurai guy begged me to watch this. And I did, and it hurt very bad. So I watched the movie G20, which is available on Amazon.
God, why?
Yes. Yes. Oh,
go watch The Cleaner then with Daisy Ridley, which is just her ripoff of Die Hard.
I should have double featured G20 and Snow White. It was painful, but they watched it and they were like, "Oh, please, commiserate with us." And I was like, no. And they're like, "Oh no, you got to. We want, it would be for an epic rant." If I had watched it and done the rant right then, it would have made for quite the mighty rant. But I have many, many, many notes I want to go through real quick. If you have not seen, or if you have seen G20, this is G20 in a nutshell. You start off, we have a black female president. So obviously they thought Kamala was going to win, or I've also heard that it wasn't supposed to be Kamala. This was supposed to be
Michelle
Obama. And then there's a white lady who at the end you find out is evil, and that was supposed to be Hillary Clinton kind of thing. After it was like 6 minutes and 14 seconds, I turned the movie off and went, "Fuck this shit." And I messaged them and I was like, "No, I can't fucking do it." I was angry after 6 minutes because of the woke shit in it. And they're like, "No, please, please, please." They begged me for like a day. And then Lady Fat Blood commented something. I think I had posted something about being how could people forgive what was done to Jesus Christ in the in the Passion of the Christ. How do Christians and Jews get along? And Lady Fat Blood responded that going like, "I don't know, but there's a movie with a high heel subplot that you could watch." And I was fucking dying at her response. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what she said. But yes, G20, it's basically about this president who goes to the G20 summit with all the other world leaders, and they get kind of like these bad guys come in and take over the whole thing, and there's a lot to it. I'll talk about in a second. But the important part is the president of the United States, this woman, decides that she doesn't want to wear high heels, so she makes a thing out of it. And then somebody else is wearing high heels, and she's like, "Yeah, they tried to put me in those things, honey." And so then that didn't happen. And then later on, that woman that was wearing high heels finally took them off, and they had this little bonding moment between her and the president when she threw her high heel away. And I was like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me?" But so anyways,
no man asks women to wear high heels. I mean, it's just the whole idea of the high heel was to show off the woman's ass, is because it would poke out. And they're uncomfortable as hell. So no man, unless you're a hooker, wants you to wear high heels. It's just that simple. Just wear, and it's a height thing too. But it's no man cares. So for them to make an issue out of high heels is the stupidest thing ever. No.
It's almost as stupid as the way the movie starts. And that's with the daughter getting caught after she lives in the White House and she broke out of the White House. She was able to get through the White House security system and escape to go out with her friends from the White House. So you're telling me a 13, 14-year-old daughter, however old she was, escaped from the White House, got past White House security?
Yes. Because she's perfect. She's a Mary Sue. Yeah. That is a trope now that is going on. This has it that she's a computer genius that can outdo the greatest computer person ever.
Oh yeah.
Her brother is a moron. The
Yeah.
dad is a simp. And then you can go back to, even like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, where Ant-Man's daughter is more brilliant than he is. She creates like a fission reactor right there out of like bubble gum and paper clips.
Yeah.
And the dad is dumb because now in this film, Ant-Man is stupid. So it's this stupid trope that they did also with like Hawkeye, and they did it with other stuff where the young teenage girl is better and more important and more skilled than the older man is, which is a friggin' joke. So
yeah. Well, this girl is more skilled than the United States Secret Service, apparently.
Yeah.
So, but then after she's caught coming back in, they're all in her room and the president lady's chewing her out, and she just totally backtalks and sasses the president, and then like walks out of the room. And I'm like, wait a minute. Nobody that's president could have a child that acts like that, because they would not have made it to become president. But then this is where I went and I said, fuck you. And I turned it off the first time. Was right after that scene, you get to the airplane and they're flying in Air Force One on the way to the G20 summit. And you have the Michelle Obama and you have the Hillary Clinton characters sitting there talking. And they're talking about how they ran against each other for the presidential election and how they're still friends and all that stuff. But, oh, no, wait, no. This comment took place. The president lady tells the daughter this. She tells the daughter, I had to work twice as hard to become president, meaning I'm black. So it was twice as hard for me to become president. That's when I went exit, and I exited out of the fucking movie right there. I understand. We have not had a female president. We've had one black president. I get it. There's a percentage of the population that's not going to vote for you. But you go on fucking CNN and talk about that. Don't go in a movie and talk about that. I don't need Snow White. I don't need any of these agenda-driven movies telling me this shit. I understand. I know history. But at the same time, like I told John, hey, I was watching Exodus, and for 400 years, the Hebrews were enslaved by the Egyptians. I want reparations, damn it. Actually, I'm not Hebrew, so I wouldn't qualify anyways.
Well, no, but these days you can identify as Hebrew and get the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I don't need to identify as Irish, and there was Irish slaves for a long, long time too.
There were slaves all over the place. It's like everybody was a friggin' slave at some point.
Yes. So, and then they get to G20, and rather than Secret Service being everywhere, they say, oh, Madam President, we don't need Secret Service here. We've hired private security, and we're going to use private security to protect you because God knows they can do better than the Secret Service. There you go. There is we got to drive this prisoner across a long bridge so they can shoot the bridge with the missile, blow it up, and we can get the prisoner back. There was the dumb thing in the movie that allowed this all to happen. We don't need Secret Service here. We have private security. And then, of course, private security are the bad guys, and they end up taking over the whole damn thing. And then, I mean, this movie is just so fucking stupid. They get to the hotel where the G20 is going to take place. And as they're walking in, there's a guy standing there, or a woman, I don't remember, but they hand the president and her husband and the kids room keys because the fucking president of the United States needs a hotel room key. Like the fucking Secret Service isn't going to be there watching it, letting her in, opening doors. Where's the fucking Marines that open the door? President doesn't open the door. Marines open the door for the president. No, you're handing the president of the United States a room key? This is how stupid this movie was. I could not believe it. So then anyways, we get into the, and then the security guy who winds up being the bad guy for whatever fucking reason that they never address, when you see him, he's chewing fucking bubblegum. Like it's so obnoxiously, like, why the fuck is this guy chewing bubblegum? You don't chew bubblegum in movies. Nobody wants to see chewing. And he's chewing bubblegum. And then you would think he would, like, later on in the movie, blow a bubble and stick it on a security camera or something, you know, like there would be a purpose for it. No purpose. Well, anyways, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. The movie sucks ass. Lack of security. Oh yeah, they're being shot at and they hide behind tables. Oh, suddenly these fucking tables are bulletproof or something. I mean, this is just so dumb. I got so many notes. Maybe I'll do a video with the Fat Samurai guy and go over all this, because I mean, literally, I have 9 pages of notes here, and what I just did was 1 page. So I went, as I watched the movie, I kept notes. It was, it made me mad. So G20, I don't recommend it. I do believe I gave it 0 stars on Letterboxd there. So I don't recommend it to anybody. It's the dumbest fucking movie.
Well, they also do, which is another trope these days, when we never minded this back in the day, but Viola Davis is like 5'4", 60 years old, and she's kicking the ass of like a 6 foot tall guy,
yes,
who's muscle bound, who looks like a quarterback. And I don't care how much she worked out. No, that's not going to happen. But back in the day, when you had a woman kicking ass, we didn't care. It was awesome to see her kicking ass. But now that they've made such a big deal out of this whole thing, you know, with the DEI and the woke crap and all that type of stuff, now it's front and center. That even somebody, you know, like Ridley, Daisy in, you know, The Cleaner, Die Hard because she's a window cleaner. She does the same thing, and she's stick thin. She's like a twig. And she's taking on all these guys. There's
a reason in UFC, MMA, boxing, or whatever, that the lightweights don't fight the heavyweights. They just can't. It doesn't matter how technically sound you are. You're just not going to do it. But no, there is a point in this movie, G20, where the president lady turns into the fucking Punisher. She's got machine guns, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, she's got to fight the guy, and she whoops the guy's ass. And it's like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. You know,
it's because of this stuff. Okay, you're a fan of Star Trek, as I'm sure you watched Voyager. And
never.
Oh, wow. Okay, great show. And Captain Janeway, who's not muscle bound.
Oh, I maybe I'm sexist or whatever, but the bottom line, I didn't mind the fact that she was a female. One, that woman is ugly as fuck, and I can't stand looking at her.
Oh,
and
shit.
Two, the name Janeway is so fucking dumb. What is that? So that's why I've never watched it. I swear to God, those are the 2 reasons why I've never watched it.
I think you're missing out, but there is a Die Hard episode where she has to be John McClane on Voyager. And she got the nickname of Action Janeway, and people wanted her to do more of that type of stuff. And of course, you're talking phasers and things like that. Nobody sat there and said she couldn't do it because it wasn't made a big deal. You know, if Red Sonja was out there kicking butt next to Conan, who's, you know, this big and she's this big, it didn't matter. It was just awesome. Yeah. But these days, with the way that it's being done, with how men are being put down, how, you know, now a girl who's, you know, 5 foot tall with arms that thin can now kick ass. And it's just like, I don't care if it's a Marvel movie or what. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And that's, to me, I was willing with G20 to give all that the benefit of the doubt, but when you have that and then all this other stupid stuff on top, that movie, I can't recommend it. I don't understand why it exists. It's
girl power.
Greg, what's going on? Says, hey, John and OGP, sorry late to the party. It's all good. Better late than ever. You are just in time, though. Just in time to see what John Ward has purchased this week. Would you care to show us Your pickups, good sir.
Yes. After you left, I wasn't going to do anything for a while. And, but I do remember that there were some stuff that, like a couple films that I forgot to put on the list. So I didn't look. So I said, oh, why not? I got some credit left over. Let me go to a Zia on Rainbow and
You bastard. You went back to Zia.
I did. And this is the movie that I wanted to pick up, which is Stallone and Get Carter. It's a remake of the 1970s Get Carter with Michael Caine, which is awesome. Michael Caine is even in this, but he doesn't play Carter. And, you know, his brother gets killed and he's going to, you know, trying to figure out why his brother was killed. This is a very strange movie. The director is foreign. I forget exactly where he's from. It might be France. Man, this thing is weird. It's shot weird. The music, everything in this movie is weird. I like it because it's weird, but it's not your typical action film and what you would think how it's like shot and edited. It's really foreign. It's almost like an art house movie.
Huh. Okay.
But I do enjoy it. It's fun. While I was there, they had a dollar bin, and I figured, why not? And I found for 99 cents a Emilio Estevez film that he stars in and directs. Martin Sheen is in it. And that's The War at Home, which deals with Vietnam vets. Like he comes back from the war.
I got that in a box set up here.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's funny is that this is obviously Martin Sheen right here, and then it says Kimberly Williams, and then Emilio Estevez. Well, that's Kathy Bates right there. Why is she not up there? Why funny. Kimberly Williams, who was the bride and like father of the bride? Like she's known.
All that matters is that Emilio, Night at the Roxbury reference right there. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I have not seen that in many, many years.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say ever, but okay.
I'd say, well, Richard Grieco was in it, and I worked with Richard Grieco and have a photo with Richard Grieco where I'm like praising him on my knees, like he's an 80s god. Very nice guy. But he directed this, and as I've said before, I think Mario Van Peebles and Emilio Estevez are two very, 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 very underrated directors. Okay, this one was a hate purchase, and I wanted that one scene with that guy I told you about who's, you know, what you just said is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And this audience, you've now made this audience even dumber. I'm misquoting it totally. And you told me where it was, that it was on Billy Madison. And so I picked up a double feature of Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. And years and years, decades ago, a friend who I'm not friends with anymore, we decided to get pizza and beer when I worked at Blockbuster and got VHS tapes of Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and The Waterboy. And let's find out why everybody loves Adam Sandler. We didn't understand it. We watched them and went, these are not funny. I've never found Adam Sandler to be funny. I don't get Ukulele Man. It's not part of the news. I don't understand his sense of humor. Every character he plays is incredibly unlikable and an asshole. And so I picked these up and watched them both in a row. And I still hate both these movies. I do not find him funny. His movies on Netflix are awful, but I do like him as a dramatic actor. I think he's really good in Funny People. I think he's good in Punch Drunk Love. I think he's really good in like Spanglish. I think he's a great dramatic actor. You know, but he is not funny. This is not funny. It's just not funny.
I've never seen him in a dramatic movie. Any of those movies you've named, I've never seen one of them. I just can't imagine Adam Sandler being but the movies he's done that are dramatic have not been anything that's like, if I'm going to watch a movie, one of my big things is like, is there a body count? I want bodies. And he's not a killer. You know, if he goes out and all of a sudden goes full Kevin James and decides he's going to be in a horror movie and there's going to be dead people, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have mentioned in the comments there, but yeah, Young Guns 3, Emilio did mention that he's doing Young Guns 3. And then Wicked Network says Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is very good. He is very good in that. His character is annoying, but he's meant to be annoying.
Okay.
So it's just like, and I know this is sacrilege, I don't find Robin Williams to be funny. Not at all. I even went to the same high school as him. And because he's from Marin County, don't find him funny. Not one comedy I think he's funny in, but he's a great dramatic actor. So, stuff like 1 Hour Photo, Insomnia, he is a great dramatic actor. Just like I think Jim Carrey is a much better dramatic actor than he is a comedian. He's done some pretty good, serious stuff. So, I just don't like that type of humor. Happy Gilmore does have some funny stuff, like the fight with Bob Barker and some other things. He does do some redeemable things with, but Billy Madison is insufferable. I mean, insufferable. And of course, because he's a man child, he always gets the hot girl. She hates him at the beginning, and oh, look, he's so cute because he's a man child. I love him now. So fucking annoying.
What's up, Mario? How you doing tonight, Mario?
Hey, Mario. And then at the same place, that was Zia. And then at Goodwill, because we had a work meeting, and right up the street was Goodwill on Sahara. So I went there, found, because I do collect VHS for certain people. So this would be Tony Scott. So I found True Romance on VHS.
Ooh. Okay.
So that's a good one.
Yeah.
And also found Spy Game, also Tony Scott.
Oh, yeah, that's Brad Pitt, Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good one. And then I'm not a huge Sandra Bullock fan, but I like her early stuff. Demolition Man, Speed. As she got older, not so much. I kind of thought she looked like a guy in drag, to be honest. Maybe she had work done. But I remember this being pretty good, and it's Premonition. So she keeps having premonitions of her husband dying. And this is it. He goes up a hill and his car explodes. And she has to figure out how to stop the car exploding. And I'm not going to say the ending or anything, but it's it's not bad. It's good. If you want something that's kind of a Groundhog Day type of movie, but with premonitions, this is worth watching. So I think that
what genre would you put that in?
I may still put it in drama.
It's not a horror though.
No, you could say because of the premonitions, maybe sci-fi.
Okay.
Like drama sci-fi.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you had mentioned Maverick earlier with Mel Gibson. So I picked that one up. And it has the late, great James Gardner, of course, who's one of the greatest actors that we've ever had.
He was all right.
Files and stuff. And then my last one is I found the complete first season of 21 Jump Street.
Oh. Richard Grieco?
Not in this one. I think he comes in the third season. I was bummed. I was looking for him on here, and his name is not listed anywhere. So I think he was more like second or third season.
That's Johnny Depp on the cover right there, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's ever had a jar of cocaine. I wonder if he's ever had a jar of cocaine.
It's possible. I know that he's had a bed full of poo.
He has, yeah. Yeah. And the chick that put the poop in the bed probably indulged in his jar of cocaine.
I would think so. If I saw that jar, I would indulge. That's definitely for sure. So
Greg says there are only a handful of Adam Sandler films I like. Big Daddy, 51st Dates, Happy Gilmore. The problem also, though, is when TBS and TNT overplay his films, and then I have to take a break. Yeah, they do like Adam Sandler films do get put on rerun a lot. They are on the regular replay there. Favorite James Garner film is The Great Escape.
That's a good movie. Yeah, that's a great film. Yeah. Well, comedy-wise, I would say I like The Wedding Singer. I thought that was pretty good because he's playing a character. He's actually playing somebody who you like. It's the people around him that are the jerks. He's not the jerk.
Yeah, I've never seen The Wedding Singer.
It's with Drew Barrymore. I think it's the first time they were together. Billy Idol is in it. So
Drew Barrymore is dead to me. Not a fan. Yeah.
No, she's a weirdo these days, but liked her in Charlie's Angels.
Never saw that. What any other pickups?
That's it. That's all I grabbed.
All right. Yeah, I have nothing this week. Nada, zilch, zero. Nothing.
Okay.
I didn't. I showed them all your house last week, but man, I did want to kind of mention again quickly because we're hitting 2 hours here, so we'll probably wrap it up here. But John and I did go and see Drop. I think we talked about it a little bit last Monday, but we both enjoyed it. It was very good. I think John even enjoyed it a little bit more than I did.
Yeah.
But highly recommend checking it out if you can. It's definitely a good one. And then Mission Impossible is coming up about a month from now. So very much looking forward to that. And is that or what's the reference?
I'm as happy as a little girl.
Oh, your nipples are hard right there. Is that what you're doing right there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This makes my nipples hard when I watch myself hanging out with Jon Bernthal, the Punisher.
As it should.
Nipples hard as a rock right there.
Boing.
But man, The Accountant 2, speaking of Jon Bernthal, The Accountant 2, and even before Mission Impossible, we have the new Final Destination coming out. So there is a ton coming up. Very much looking forward to seeing some good stuff in the theater. So, what else is going on this week? You released a video, everybody, and if you haven't, make sure if you're watching this here and not on John's channel, John's link is right down there below. I finally added your X, so you have your Instagram, X, and I think YouTube channel, all three down below there now.
Thank you. Yeah, my Facebook is up. I just don't. I only use it to communicate with some people, but I never post anymore. But it is there.
Anything else going on? Anything else we should look forward to on your channel? Like maybe this coming Saturday? Whose channel is that on?
That will be on mine. So yeah, this Saturday will be Philip, Donald, and myself for film discussion. We will be talking about all 4 Expendables movies, and I'm looking forward to discussing part 4 the most.
Yeah.
I know Philip is. And I'm going to, before that, listen to the audio commentary and watch behind the scenes, so I can be fully, engulfed in all things Exterminator 4. What a cluster of a movie that is.
I hate to say, as much as it was a disaster, it's had a lot of potential, and I wasn't angry after it was over. Like some movies, G20 make me angry. I was not angry after it, but it's like there are a lot of questions. What the hell happened to that movie? Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to record that Saturday.
Yeah.
And then you're going to put it up like Sunday or something?
Sunday, it will go up. Yeah.
Okay. Right on. House of G-Fam says SNL recreated the poo in the bed discovery by the housekeepers. It was hilarious. Oh, not seen that. That might be worth looking up, right? That's funny. Antonis, I'm so hyped for Final Destination 6. It's my most anticipated horror movie of 2025. Right on. I think for me, I mean, like The Monkey and why do I always forget the name of it? The one where guy couldn't feel any pain, like those two I was really amped about. But I'm
the one with Quaid in it. Yeah.
Where they
what
they
is
call
it?
them,
It's
the name of the drug that
Novocaine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Let's see here. I rented The Monkey and thought it was a good horror film. Nice. Love The Monkey. Cannot wait to get a physical release of that. And speaking of, I wonder when that's coming. So that's about it. That's about it. I'm gonna pop over to blu-ray.com real quick, and if we have a date. Oh, in June. Thank you, Antonis. Nice. So just a little over a month away, and we can get our copy of The Monkey and keep our Oz Perkins collection growing.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking forward to his next one.
Yeah. Oh, Heart Eyes. Yeah. No, Greg, Heart Eyes
That's a
again.
good one.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. We all miss Blockbuster. That's where we got a sign right here. We miss Blockbuster. And I got some Blockbuster cases and movies and stuff last week. That was pretty awesome.
I remember because I worked for Blockbuster. I was an assistant manager. I worked there for like 3 years. And it was great when Netflix started and it was just the guy in his garage. And he had all the movies on the table and he would mail them out. And if you lived around the corner, you got it in like a day. If you lived in another state, you got it like 4 days later. And they're like, do not worry. Netflix will not be a thing. You have nothing to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
Your jobs are secure. This will not take off. He's a guy in his garage. This is going to fail. Cut to me on the unemployment line.
Right. Yes. Yes. I know Blockbuster screwed up. They really screwed up with Netflix there. June 24th, The Monkey will be coming out on physical media. June 24th. So you can pre-order it now from Amazon should you so desire to do so. Jeff Keaton watched Strange Darling and it was pretty good. I really enjoyed Strange Darling. Have you seen that one, John?
No.
Oh, I highly recommend it. Master Chaos was not a big fan because it's like so many chapters, maybe like 9 chapters, and they start with like chapter 4 or something, and then they go to like chapter 2, then they go to chapter 7. It bounces around, but they can't put it all in order or it'd spoil what's going on. So it is very, very good. I love Strange Darling. That is one that I definitely want to get a physical copy of. So that's it. I think that's about all we got to talk about this week. Did I mention I hung out with the Punisher?
You did. You did.
Okay. But thanks for watching, everybody.
Name drop.
Oh, look who's talking over here.
Well, did I tell you that I'm friends with Mr. Cliff Macmillan, the man one of the guys who started Scream Factory? And
you've mentioned that a time or two.
And now he works over at Arrow. That I've known him for like 40 years. So he's one of my best friends. Did I
you got a shitload of movies up on your shelf that you didn't have to pay for because of that? No Sinners yet, Nocturno. Man, the trailer scared me off, and then the runtime and stuff. So, yeah. I like your mother. I like your breast, mommy. No, it's I like your breast, mommy. Not. Oh yeah. No, I'm reading. I went dyslexic for a minute there, but yes, I like your breast, mommy. It's buried. I can't get the sticker right now.
Ew.
Yeah. We might. Wait a minute. Let me see. We haven't brought that out in a while. Hold on.
When I was a baby, you always used to hold me to your breast. I loved your breast so much, Mama. When I was a
What the hell? What is that from?
Burial Ground, the movie Burial Ground.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, okay. I've never seen Burial Ground.
I loved your breast so much, Mama.
I own it, but I've never watched it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Man. That movie, it's good. It's worth watching. That movie definitely gets a
Yeah, bitch!
From me. It definitely gets the yeah, bitch. So, anyways, go to Blockbuster, Oregon. Been there twice. It was pretty cool. Very nostalgic walking in there. So, John, anything else before we set sail here?
No, not really. I got more videos coming
Mm-hmm.
out, but that's really about it. So
cool. Well, yeah, everybody be sure you're checking out John's channel this weekend for us to talk Mission Impossible. I'm kidding. We're talking Expendables this weekend. We had a whole confusion thing because I kept saying Mission Impossible instead of Expendables, or I said Expendables instead of Mission Impossible. So, but Mission Impossible. That's next month. Expendables this weekend. There you go. Almost did it again.
Wait. I cannot wait.
Peter Bark is a legend. Yes, and I even Liv. And what's up, Liv? I friended way back in the day. I friended Peter Bark on Facebook and became friends with him. So it was awesome. I loved friending him almost as much as he loved his mama's breasts. So Yeah. That being said, we're going to head on out. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Enjoy as we part ways for the evening, for the week. Enjoy the new Horror Movie Monday intro again with all the new fancy stuff as we play that as we head on out. John, I'll let you go so we can get up and both. I'm sure we have to urinate. No sword fighting, though, as we're in different states. So
Damn it.
have a good one. All right.
Bye.
See you guys later.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Most of all, fuck you!